think everybody knows at this point that hip thrusts are a great staple for glute growth, but there's a lot of common mistakes that are made that will be keeping you from getting the glute gains that you are searching for. My name is Kelly, and I have been lifting for 10 years and coaching clients for the last 3. I teach all of my female clients how to do hip thrusts and how to do them right so that you are not missing out on any glute gains. Step number 1, for the love of God, please use a hip thrust pad on the bar. Do not crush your hips by just putting the bar on your hips. It is not worth the pain. Finding the right box or bench to use for hip thrusts is definitely important. I have this lovely pad that is made just for hip thrusts, but if you don't have something like this, you can really use any bench or box that you find at the gym, but something that is a little softer will definitely feel better on your back, and you don't want something that's too high so that you're at a really downward facing angle. But other than that, use what you can, play around with some different options, and kind of feel what you can feel the best glute engagement with, and that will be the best thing for you to use. I like to position myself with the pad in the middle of my back, so kind of just below my lats and the bottom of my sports bra. We're going to position ourselves with feet hip width apart, toes pointed forward, and then we want to find a position that when our hips are all the way up like this, our knees are over our ankles. If your feet are too far away, you're going to feel this more in your hamstrings, and if your feet are too close, the motion will be really compacted and you're going to feel this more in your quads than in your glutes. I personally love to use a band above the knees. I find that I get way better glute engagement, so we'll put the band like this up above your knees and then drive the outsides of your legs into the side of the band, and I feel this 10 times more in my glutes by adding the band. A really common mistake I see is what I call hip scooping when doing hip thrusts. So this will be all of the motion coming from your hips, pumping like this, rather than a hip hinge where your entire back is moving. As the weight gets heavier, you'll be able to move so much more weight if you move like this versus just pumping the hips. A way to think about this is if you had a board behind your back, how your entire body would move along the board, and you would have to move all together rather than just the hips. Getting the barbell off of the ground can feel a little bit awkward. So once we roll it in, we're going to position this right here in the crease of our hips. Make sure that the opening on the pad is facing up so that the bar doesn't fall through and then end up going onto your hips and causing you pain. We'll position ourselves with the mid-back on the bench, and then put your hands on the bar. We'll walk our feet in, and then we're going to lift up. You might have to adjust a little bit to find that sweet spot. Make sure your feet are hip width apart, toes pointing forward, tuck your chin, and then starting point will be here, and we will squeeze our glutes to bring the bar up and then lower back down. So you're at the top of your motion when your hips or when your glutes are parallel with your knees. You don't want to overextend and cause yourself unnecessary pain. You don't need to come all the way down to the ground in between reps, just glutes hovering above the ground. Squeeze glutes to come up and then lower back down. Like I said, hip thrusts are such a staple for glute growth, and it's important that you get all of the form right so that you actually feel them in your glutes and you're not just going through the motions and kind of flopping some weight around. I have found from personal experience and with all of my clients that hip thrusts are a really safe exercise to progress on weight fairly quickly. You can probably add 5 to 10 pounds per week for quite a while in your training, so make sure you're writing down the weights that you're doing and coming back week to week and aiming to add a couple reps or a couple of pounds each time, and within 6 months you'll be amazed at how much more you can do than you can do right now. I am making a whole series of Barbell Basics for this YouTube channel, so subscribe down below so that you don't miss any of these videos. Let's get stronger together.